Hi, it's Julie at Love's Beginning with a message called All in Accord. Anywhere you feel resistance or judgment, it's an opportunity to agree to new perception. Resistance and judgment is the tug of the old. Respond by asking for new perception. The feeling of resistance means that right now you are blind. The weight of judgment means that for now you have shackled your power. It's okay though. Simple resets are available always, and you are learning to accept their gifts. You ask about physical habits. Do you want to see them anew? In order to move through them and leave their weight behind, you must see them as weightless, as having no actual power. The perception of personal habits can hypnotize and beguile, but it cannot rule. Only the equal power available to all can rule. The equal power available to all has always been in charge, and you see this as you request to see it. So let's look at a physical habit. Pick one of your own. It seems to be real. You witness a body enacting this habit you have labeled, and you call this body your own. We tell you now. The enactment of this habit that you seem to see and experience is a symbol of your thinking. The enactment of any habit that you seem to see and experience is a symbol of your thinking. The enactment of any habit that you seem to see in others is a symbol of your thinking. Yours. Your ability is in stopping when the thought comes. Your ability is in stopping when the thought comes. You stop and you ask. You can go very deeply into this, and you can ask, how deeply? When you feel you are forcing it, when you feel fatigued, then it is not time. But gradually, you are able to go deeper and deeper into the perception of physical habit in both you and other. You have to give up the old perception to see something very familiar in the new way. So you have to interrupt yourself a lot. You become more and more willing to interrupt the inner narrative frequently. You recognize that the inner narrative is not you. As you recognize that the inner narrative is not you, you are able to hear the voice that is here for you. It is you, and simultaneously everyone you perceive to be else. As you recognize it, it is effortless to follow it. This voice isn't just a thought, it's a guiding force, and everything that seems to come from it flows effortlessly. Eventually you trust fully in that which comes effortlessly. So ego's thoughts about what is bad and what is good cease to have any meaning. Being meaningless, they are ignored. Seeing everything anew, this is your power in every situation in which you find yourself. Do you want to see things in a way in which you have never seen them before? And do you want to find your freedom in it? If you already know something about a physical habit, you know what it is, if it is good or bad, what its effects are, then you know. You are in a limit by choice, and you experience the weight of the limit. Can you allow the unlimited to rule? Can you trust fully the you prior to the you that knows specific things about specific things? Let's take a journey into small you-ness. When you look upon a physical habit, you may decide if it is good or bad. You may decide if it should be enacted or if it shouldn't be enacted. Then a thought comes that you want to do something. Your judgment may pop up in contradiction. The familiar perception of a tug of war takes you into the perception that you are separate and you must struggle. Are you separate? Must you struggle? Is there something here that leads you effortlessly in all things? Are you willing to become aware of that which leads you effortlessly in all things? Are you willing to flow with it and as it? Are you willing to see it everywhere, in everything, and everyone? Following the unlimited takes over everything very lovingly, in safety. Let's say that you observe a body you call you, enacting what you call a physical habit, one that you call bad. Are you willing to observe in love, with love, as love? Are you willing to see through it for the nothingness it is? Now let's observe the body you call you, enacting what you call a good habit. Are you willing to observe in love, with love, as love? Can you observe all the bodies enacting in the same way, with no credit and no blame? Can you observe with no relatively heavy and light value assigned? It's okay if you assign relative value, because you will feel it instantly. You will know it is time to pause for a reset. You come to trust the reset and whatever inspiration arises from it. There is a fundamental accord among all things you perceive to be separate. You can look to any separate aspect, look through the surface to the accord shining at its foundation, and say, "Let me see this differently. Show me what to do. Tell me what to say." This becomes the new habit. Everything at its true basis becoming your guide. Look to one element of a situation that you would judge, and look directly through to the accord shining behind it. Allow the accord to be in charge, and be relieved of the burden of judgment. Are you watching one smoking a cigarette? The cigarette can teach you. Look through it to the accord that is the truest thing about it. Accord, can you teach me how to see this differently? Look to the one smoking, through that one to the accord. Accord, can you teach me how to see this differently? Accord is the teacher fully accessible to all right now in anything or anyone or within any concept perceived as separate. You are safe in accord. You can always ask accord to lead. Thank you for asking us to light up the path to accord. It gives us great joy to be in accord with you always. Thanks for listening.